Good morning. So we've just finished our morning session. So we had a higher intensity session at 6:15, followed by our yoga with Bindu. So wanted to just jump on and answer a question. I've been asked a few times actually over the last few months or so, but it came up again last week, and someone just said, out of curiosity, why is it that the program's for ladies over 40? Do you just work with ladies over 40? And the answer is, in a nutshell, when I first started personal training and kind of training people when I was 18, so talking like 12 years ago, it was just training anyone, but generally the people who I used to train tended to be women over 40, and I don't know why that was, but my idea behind it is that when I had an eating disorder growing up, and I'm not saying this is like stereotypical, but people would come to me and think, I've dieted all the time, I've tried everything. And because I used to blog, I've always blogged and done stuff like this for years. So when I'd blog a lot, I was always talking about, relationship with food, like diet culture, different words that people use, like bad and good. I'd always be bringing that up because I guess it's been something that has been in my vocabulary before, right? So I've always said foods are good, foods are bad. In my head, even as a kid, where I had an eating disorder. And so where I used to blog about that, I assumed that was where people who came from a dieting background, maybe they've tried all the diets, seemed to come to me and kind of spoke with me there. Then I started training people in a gym, okay? And I knew that something was a bit up when we would train. Hey, Belinda, hey, Julie. We would train in the gym, and then they wouldn't go to the gym in between our sessions, so maybe had one a week. And because they didn't feel comfortable doing it. And it got to a stage where I was almost just training them in a way where they could do everything at home. Because it's better, right, that they did 5 minutes at home than me seeing them there, than not doing anything till we see them again next week. It was almost a bit like, what, is this working? Is it going to work or not? Because they'd feel motivated for the first few days, then a week would pass. Hey, Diana. A week would pass, and then kind of back to kind of square one again. It's a bit like, I was all right for a few days, and then it went a bit, I'm not going to come here on my own. So we started doing exercises that they could do at home in a gym, even though it had loads of equipment. Then kind of one thing happened that kind of turned it a bit. One of the ladies, she had a bit of a panic attack. I'd only met her once before. Hey, Julie. She came into a gym and she just literally looked at me and kind of went, and kind of just walked straight out. So I was a bit like, whoa, like kind of followed her out a bit. And then she said, can we just go for a coffee instead? So that's fine. So we went for a coffee, and she essentially just said, I just don't feel comfortable in there, even though I know that other people aren't looking at me, etc. It just feels like that. And that's the moment when I thought, wow, like how, because I never see that, right? I'm, just there. When I go into a gym, I never see that. I just don't feel it. Until I thought, wow, yeah, you know what, this is right. When you look around, and if you didn't know what you were doing or what equipment does, it's quite an intimidating place. Like she was even saying, I remember the conversation, she said the amount of time she's been in a gym and someone said, can I help you? And she's in her head, she's going, yes, screaming yes. But she would just say no and just do what she knows. Hey, Mary. And from that moment, I started training her in her home. Then a friend joined. Then I thought, you know what, let's start something in Marlborough at the time, in a church hall, and let's see how it goes. And then the rest is kind of just history. We wanted to create something where people felt comfortable, felt a part of, kind of made friends, non-intimidating, could find a place where they feel comfortable training with. Because the thing is, I love doing these live workouts right now. They're really good, actually, and it's allowing some people to train every day, which is amazing. Some of the ladies have said to me, you know what, I'm training every day at the moment. I could never do this before, which is great. But I must admit, I miss seeing faces. I miss kind of the community feel to it a bit more. Like, as much as you can create that online, it's not the same. I know I'm going on a bit here, but, when you see people make friends, like the community going for coffees after events, like we were supposed to, as a bit of a team, be doing the obstacle, the colour run, 5K in Newbury, but obviously that's next month, so that's not going to happen. Things like that, which really do make that support, the motivation, going to some ways. I remember one of the ladies, we went to Tea Inc., a tea shop nearby, and we go there after, and it's like, someone said, like, you know what, it just feels nice that I turn up somewhere and someone else goes, you know what, not really feeling it today. And it just feels nice to know that you don't have to feel really motivated. It's little things like that make you think, you know what, yeah. Because without actually the people, community, none of the, whatever you do, equipment, workouts, it doesn't really matter. Whatever diet it is, doesn't really matter. Of course, like, you've got to have like the right knowledge, the right kind of team behind you, good coaching, of course, to make sure you're doing it right, doing it effectively if you're ever unsure. But in a nutshell, for this long-winded answer, it's so that this program is for ladies 40 and over, just simply because we can create a community, a support network. It allows me to make everything personal to you. So, for example, your needs are different to a guy's needs in their 20s or 30s, right? So you think of menopause, you think of menstrual cycle, and unfortunately in the diet industry and in the research industry, it's very hard to research women for many reasons, because you've got so many control variables, okay? So when I was at Oxford Brookes University, I wanted to do my study in women, pre-diabetes in women. When I came with that idea to my research supervisor, she was like, you serious? And I was thinking, what do you mean? I didn't realise how hard it is to consider age, menopause, where they are, perimenopausal, menstrual cycle. It's so hard to get volunteers in to study. So to actually understand and keep variables aligned, it was not really doable at that time with the funding that we had for the research. So it was kind of like, wow, like it just opened my eyes a bit more to, just how much a lot of the dietary advice maybe a bit kind of wishy-washy, in that treating like, and you see it, treating women almost like little men in terms of the diet industry. Like, you eat that much, you eat that much. And although in the grand scheme of things, that's correct, like calorie deficit always rules, but there are a few things that definitely help. For example, like when you look at like women's magazines and stuff, it's bombarded with lose as much weight as you can. I mean, it's slowly changing, which is good. I do see some more like, focus on kind of toning, looking stronger, if you like, whatever, kind of however you want to put it. But it's still kind of intimidating the way it's looked, and, there's always like a model on the front and whatnot. But when you actually look at it, stereotypically, if you look at how a guy might diet, they'll often focus on getting a bit stronger, eat more protein, etc. Stereotypically, a woman would always be told to run as much as you can and eat as little as possible, which we know can lead to like that yo-yo dieting culture. And just being empowered to get stronger, get fitter, get the right nutrition in, it can actually help someone stick to it for longer. Be it eating more protein in a diet is going to help. Doing some strength resistance exercise, we know for osteoporosis, we know for bone density. I could go on. That was a long-winded answer. And the other part is just so that our actual training, the nutrition, the fitness, hey Debbie, is actually taking into account people's injuries, joints, diets they've done before, so that we can have kind of a broad spectrum of workouts to allow that journey through it. For example, someone might come in and say, yeah, I've just had a knee replacement. Okay, start with this workout, do this instead. Whereas if you're going into like just a standard HIIT session, not there's nothing wrong with this fits a lot of people, but it's not for everyone. If you go into a standard HIIT session, it might just be like, well, just follow me along, go with it. There's no kind of, right, make sure your ankle's there, make sure your foot's there. So that is pretty much it. Just thought I'd jump on and cover that. Hey Caroline, hey Wendy. If you have any questions, do let me know. Want anything to cover, let me know. Habit for today. We're doing I'm going to post this in our group. We're doing one little habit a day at the moment, which is blooming hard. So yesterday was put your knife and fork down in between bites, which is really hard. Try it today, by the way. Today, we're doing avoid eating out of a packet, okay? So we're doing avoid eating out of a packet today, which again is harder than it looks. So anything out of a packet's got to be portioned into a bowl. And just that pause can just make you stop and maybe eat a little bit less. And just be more mindful of when you're full up. Yeah, so hard. Definitely. If you merge them together, put your knife and fork down between bites. It's so hard. Sometimes I just scoop in and I almost... So this is actually what I found yesterday. I put my fork into my plate and I thought, I better get more in because I'm going to have to put my knife and fork down in between these bites. It's crazy. Anyway, hope that helps. Hope that clarifies things. And any questions, just let me know. Speak soon.